All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning to you. Happy Monday. It is Monday, December 28th, 2020. We are getting awfully close to it not being 2020 anymore. This morning, we're going to talk about 2020 in review. How did you do? We're going to talk about how to figure that out, how to think through it, and what to do moving forward. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning to you. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had an awesome holiday. I certainly did. Our family's Christmas was just amazing, man. Having four little ones, certainly makes for an exciting day. So I had family over, had my parents over, my wife's mother over, my mother-in-law. And man, just what an awesome day, just hanging out with the kids and watching them open their presents. And then my parents came over and more presents. And, it was just an awesome day. I hope you guys had an amazing holiday as well. I want to say good morning to some folks. Good morning to you, Cindy. Good morning, Jared, Dean, Tammy. Good morning to you, Chris Filippelli, and Carla. Good morning to you guys. Thank you for being here. These are the real troopers, because this is the definition of separation season. This week determines what you do this week, man, is really, in my opinion, the foundation of exactly what you do normally, what you do when nobody's watching, because it's easy to blow off this week, right? It's easy to have an unproductive week between Christmas and New Year's, and that is not the way that it's going to go for me. And for those of you who are here, I would imagine it's not going to go that way for you guys either. So, let's talk about 2020 in review. So much happened, right? So much went down, so much probably changed in your life, so much perspective was gathered throughout 2020, just based on how things went, right? I think we learned a lot about ourselves. I think we learned a lot about those people around us. We learned definitely how people deal with stress and adversity. That was an easy thing to see this year, right? It was an easy thing to point out. How do people deal with difficulty? And so, one of the things that I think really comes to mind when I think about this year is, it is important to create that visibility for yourself, because this year was so crazy. So keep in mind that if you don't take the time to do what I'm about to tell you to do, some of the lessons that were learned in 2020 may not be cemented into your mind. It may not actually have the value that it could have by looking at the list of things that actually happened, what went well, what didn't, and how do we move forward into 2021 with crystal clear understanding of exactly what happened in 2020. So the first thing that I always do every single year is I kind of just take a piece of paper and I divide it down the middle, and I talk about, I list down a list of accomplishments. And then I look at the other side, and I look at, where did we fall short? What are the things that maybe we didn't get done in 2020 that we really wanted to? Because that's important as we go into 2021 to have that list. So this is a really difficult exercise to do. Because, and I'll tell you why, it's actually not a difficult exercise to do. It's a difficult exercise to get right. If you do not take the right amount of time to do this exercise can do more harm than good. So I want you to think about that for a minute. And I want you to think about the impact that this can make if you actually execute on this properly. So I want you to, just think about what happens when you get the list of things that you actually accomplished, as much as you possibly can, as detailed as you can. And I've been doing this for a few days, like literally just thinking back through things, talking to my wife about things that happened this year, going back through my planner, going back through my digital calendar, reviewing my emails, looking at our numbers from a performance standpoint, thinking about our children and what happened with them this year, kind of what progress was made. Where do we need to focus going into 2021? It is really important for you to get this list right, because this list is what tells the story of 365 days of your life. And if you don't get this list correct, you can be skewed one way or the other as to think the year was better or the year was worse than it actually was. And so it's really important. This is why having a planner, this is why keeping track of things, being disciplined, being organized is so important. Because what I will tell you is, for the majority of people, we accomplish far more than what we think. My wife is going through this same exercise, and last night she sent me a message and said, I'm having a really hard time coming up with this list. That's normal. It is very normal, especially the first couple of times that you do it, because you're not thinking. You're thinking of, well, I just do this stuff all the time. Those are still accomplishments, right? The things that you're looking for could be just things that you do every day now that you didn't do every day last year. What are those habits? What are those disciplines that you were able to implement this year that actually had a massive impact on your life, on the lives of people around you? Who did you inspire as a result of what you implemented in your life? All of those things matter. And that could be, it could be your children. It could be in business. It could be with friends. It could be in your church. It could be any aspect of your life. But it is really important to get that list correct. On the opposite side of that list, so on the list of things that maybe didn't go so well this year, or the things that we fell short on, that list is important too, because that provides the perspective and the education of exactly how we move forward with more intention, with more focus. How do we attack those things on that list maybe differently this year? Maybe we don't need to do it differently. Maybe we just didn't get to it this year, and that's okay too. But the comprehensive list that you put together is really, it's the book of 2020 for you, right? It is the look at, what did I actually do in these 365 days? And this isn't meant to be a test that you try to make yourself look good at. It is a test to genuinely tell the story to yourself, so that we can look 2020 in the eye and say, man, that was a great year, or man, I wish things would have been a little bit better. Both of those are okay, by the way. The way that we learn, the way that we grow, is through understanding exactly what we did and didn't do. It's understanding where maybe our discipline needs to get a little bit better, where our routine needs to get a little bit better, our focus needs to get a little bit better. Think about that as you go through this list. It is about being as truthful as you possibly can, so that you can look at this list. You can go over this list with the people that care about you and that you care about, and you can have an honest look at how 2020 went. Did you actually do the things that you set out to do? It's an important thing. Before you start setting goals for 2021, we should figure out how the goals that you set for 2020 went. Again, understanding that most everybody's goals were sent sideways probably sometime in March, right? And as you look at this list and you start to walk back through, I bet you'll be surprised at how much you actually accomplished. For the majority of people, you're going to be pleasantly surprised at how much you actually got done, if you take the time to make this list one that is comprehensive. If you just go through the motions, don't waste your time doing this exercise. If you just want to go through the motions and jot down a couple of things, a couple of big wins that are easy to pick out, that's not the purpose of this exercise. It is to actually write down a comprehensive list in every bucket of your life: your faith, your family, your finances, your business. All of those things are important. And so when you think about this list, all of those buckets should have some progress attached to them, right? They should have some important things that were learned, some important things that were wins, and some important things that maybe didn't go the way that we wanted them to. But either way, it is important for you to do this exercise because of the education that comes out of it. This is step one for me every year. At the end of the year is just literally the year in review. Like, what does it look like? What did we actually get done? What did we fall short on? As I was making this list for myself, and I'm not done with mine yet, it usually takes me a while to get through, just thinking through everything, going back through, literally, I go back through my calendar and my planner day by day and see exactly what was accomplished. And so that ties back to the importance of what we talk about here all the time is morning routine. If you don't have a morning routine and you're not organized, then it'll be more difficult for you to think back through this. And I'm telling you, like, the momentum that's created by understanding what you accomplished in 2020, how that takes you into 2021 from a momentum standpoint is unbelievable. So get this right. Spend the time to do this. You're going to feel better about yourself for having done it, even if it's not the result that you wanted, right? Even if you didn't maybe have the best year from a productivity standpoint, you're going to feel good about the fact that you know exactly where you are, right? You're no longer lost at sea. You know exactly where you're at, and you know which way to turn that rudder to get things headed in the right direction. Do this. Take the time, invest the time. This is one of the most important things that you can do. What I see every year around this time is people start to set goals for the following year before they understand exactly how they ended up where they are this year. And so once you understand where you ended up this year and why, it is very easy for you to start executing on your goals for 2021. It's also much easier for you to set goals that are within reach, that you understand how to accomplish, that you can create a real plan with activity attached to it of how to accomplish everything that you want for next year. So this exercise will be incredibly valuable for you if you take the time to do it. I highly, highly encourage you guys to do this. So, you can take a piece of paper, you can take two pieces of paper if you want. I just split it down the middle, and on the left-hand side, I write everything that was an accomplishment this year, kind of what were the results of things, what did we accomplish? And on the right side, some of the things that I want to carry over into 2021 that, maybe didn't go the way that I wanted them to, we didn't get to, whatever the case is, but it's important to see both sides of that and look at, and usually, at least for me, the left side is always going to way outweigh the right side. So that will build some self-esteem, some mental confidence, some momentum as you go into 2021, setting your goals. And you're also, again, you're going to be able to see those spots where you look back and say, like, man, I remember that time that I was supposed to work on this or that, and I didn't. And what was the reason for that? And you'll be able to self-correct a lot of the challenges that you have with regard to setting goals and actually achieving them. So again, I'll run back through this real quick. It's important for you to talk about your spouse, talk with your coworkers, with your counterparts about the list so that you don't miss anything, right? You got a comprehensive list. Go back through your planner. If you write in a planner every day, that's a great way to walk back through the year. Walk back through your digital calendar if you have one of those. So for me, I take a paper calendar and I always transfer it over to digital, or sometimes vice versa. If people set meetings with me online, then I transfer that over to the paper calendar. But either way, those two things, are important to review and to get all the information that you can. Go back through your emails. You'll be surprised at how your memory gets jogged just from reviewing your emails, just going back through and looking at what were the conversations that I had in January of 2020. How did those conversations progress as the year went on? It's pretty cool to do. And then obviously look at any numbers that you have, business results, results regarding things that you do on social media, if you have those types of analytics, or website traffic, or revenue, any numbers that you've got, it's important to look at those, because that is your measuring stick, right? Those are the real results of what you produced. So, I guess fortunately, it's easy to look at results in business, because at the end of the day, none of us really get compensated for how hard we try. We get compensated in life on what the result is of what we do. And so it's important to look at those results and be able to look those results in the eye and say, good job, or, how are we going to do this a little bit differently this year to get a different result? And as you do that, you comprehend everything that's happened. Then you start to line up those resources that you need to make 2021 a better year. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you plugged into? Who's maybe a mentor that you wanted to reach out to, but you never did for some reason? Let's make that happen before the end of the year if you can, right? It's important to have those people in your life. You'll be surprised at how many people will say yes. If it's not the exact person that you want, find somebody else that's similar. But it's important to be surrounded by those people that are going to help you and guide you and point that rudder in the right direction for you as you head into 2021. That's it for today. That's it for today's list. But tomorrow we're going to talk about, what it looks like to set goals, as you go into 2021, what that process actually should look like. How do you set them? So many people set goals, but they honestly just set them incorrectly. They're more dreams than goals. And we're going to talk about what it looks like to actually set goals, and then how do you create a strategy that helps you gain some momentum right out of the gate in 2021, so that you make that the very best year of your life. I've said this over the past few weeks. I've grown in my own life, because I've been a little shy at times to speak about accomplishments, because I never want other people who maybe aren't at that place to feel bad or look at me negatively. But I can tell you without a doubt that 2020 was the best year of my life from almost every aspect, right? Just from my marriage to business to my personal growth to, financially, it was an incredible year. Just every aspect, it was such an amazing year. And the reason that I say that to you guys is because I want that for everybody that's watching this or listening to it. I want the same thing to happen. And there's some things that I've been doing over the past few years that I know for sure has led to those results. And so I want to share that with you guys. And part of that is goal setting. It's how do you do it? How do you revisit those goals? How do you commit them to a place in your mind that makes them 1000% possible to happen and likely to happen? And I'm going to share that process of exactly how I do that with you guys tomorrow morning, both from a personal standpoint for me, and then also how do we do that in our business? And, what does it look like as you progress through and start to accomplish those goals? How do you stretch it out to get even better results? So tune in tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about exactly how you do that. And by the way, I don't care. I've had people tell me, well, I'm not your age. I'm a little older than you. I don't want to hear that stuff either, man, because it doesn't matter what age you are. If you're not setting goals, man, what are you doing? So if you're not setting goals, you're not accomplishing things. What are you actually doing in your life? And, I challenge you, if you have not set goals in the last few years, no matter what age you are, to think about that and to dial yourself back in, man, and get to that point where you are waking up on fire every day. It is the best feeling in the world. I wake up every single day, man, so excited to live the life that I live. And I do this show. I share these things that I share because I want the same for other people. I didn't always feel like this. There were days that I woke up that, I didn't know how I was going to make it through the day. And, I know what that feels like. And if you're in that place, these are some of the things that got me out of that place and got me into this place. And so I want to share that with you guys. And so tune in tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. I'm going to share a lot as far as how I go through this process of goal setting and how I make 2021 a reality before it is a reality. So thank you guys for being here this morning. I appreciate you guys. Good morning, David Martin. Shane Brandt, good morning to you, man. Bruce, good morning. My wife is on here. Good morning, babe. Man, thank you guys for being here. And I look forward to seeing you guys and talking about this tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.